You're not going to get sober and stop using substances because they suddenly stop working. You're going to get sober because you most likely realize that the relief you're chasing in the first place never actually arrives. Sometimes the relief that we're chasing is really just a way of postponing the peace that we're really after. And really, what we're doing is confusing our nervous system. It's confusing escape with safety. Chasing relief through substances is a dead end road. And honestly, when I chose alignment instead, everything fell into place. Hey there, welcome to another episode. If you have been procrastinating on getting sober, but feeling the nudge in the background, I want you to hang here with me. We're going to normalize the fear surrounding this and just end the drama regarding it moving into your upgraded sober lifestyle. And one amazing resource I can offer you right off the bat is my Enough is Enough free online workshop. Comes with a workbook that's going to help you just quiet the fear and the mental warfare and choose sobriety with confidence. That link to access that will be in the description, so grab it if that's you. And if we haven't met yet, I'm Jennifer Sack. Thanks so much for being here. Now, I personally struggled with substance abuse for decades and circled in and out of sobriety for years before I finally landed in Soberville for a good 5 years now. I want you to know I'm not a licensed addiction specialist. I am a wellness advocate who has been in the wellness field for over a decade. But if you feel like you need professional help for your addiction, for your mental health, I highly suggest you run out there and find a licensed professional for that. The resources and things I share are really coming from my wellness training and my personal experience. But I thank you for being here, and let's dive into today's topic all about how chasing the relief of substances is really just procrastinating on the piece you're after in the first place, how we're confusing our nervous system, and how just choosing alignment can really lock everything into place. Let's dive into the conundrum of chasing relief via substances and how that's really not regulation. It is just a temporary relief. So, whether it's daily stressors, social anxieties, whatever it is that you're using your substances to feel better, to open up, to um, downshift, however that is, it will get you there quickly. And it may feel like safety because you are letting your guard down, perhaps. Maybe you're opening up. You're literally numbing your system and downshifting when you use substances. So you're dulling all your senses. So it feels like this sort of like relaxation of a sense, right? And that's what we're chasing. We want relief. We want relief from the anxiety, from maybe the obsessive thoughts in our head. Maybe it's from like social anxieties. We're trying to find relief. And so we go after the quickest fix that gives us that. But this is not true regulation. This is just a temporary fix that makes you think that you're safe for a moment until that thing wears off and you have to keep consuming more of it and more often. I'm sure if you're like me, it's like you could never get enough to get there at some point. Then you realize you're really chasing something to feel better, whereas true regulation is like embodied peace. It's something that you can utilize anytime as a tool to drop into and sort of not only kind of come to this place, but create a sustained balance of where you continually are. Now, I'm not going to say you're not thrown off all the time. Life is full of daily stressors. We can't get away from that. What we can do is learn to regulate so that we're not relying on substances. We're not chasing relief. We're actually able to self source it so that we can come and really move through life from a place where we're able to handle all these things on our own. And that may sound like a really foreign concept if you've been chasing relief and using substances for a long time to do that. I will say, if you are someone who's like, I don't think I could cope without relying on substances, you're going to want to grab my 7-day energy reset because it's going to help you with that. It's going to help you retrain yourself to self source that regulation rather than chase other outside substances. That will also be in the description of the show notes. Grab that if that's you. But really, if you think about it, any sort of relief that requires recovery is not actual relief. And by recovery, I mean you're going to ricochet back. You're going to hit a wall. The substances will wear off. You're sometimes going to ricochet back into a worse state than you began with Sometimes using too much of our substances creates other issues, things like paranoia, panic attacks, heart palpitations. Been there. It can actually create a whole another slew of issues. And the irony is, you were just looking for relief in the first place, and you created a whole bunch of other reasons that you need to relieve yourself. It's not funny at all, but it does make me get a little chuckle out of it. So, this relief, really chasing relief, anyhow, keeps us stuck in this stress loop. So, we're chasing it, we're getting that quick fix, we're coming down from that, and then the slew of other things either come in, or we just need to keep at it to keep feeling that relief because we don't know how to get there on our own. That's a problem. You're going to continually chase that relief and never actually regulate. So, this is that funny moment when the coping mechanism and act and behavior itself, that own pattern that you're doing or using to cope, becomes the stressor. That's not what you're after. You really didn't set out for that, but that may be what you're experiencing. It's certainly what I experienced. There came a point where I was like, man, the thing I was using to cope and feel better has now become the thing that's stressing me out. Mainly because on some level, I know that it's not a permanent fix. I know it's going to wear off. I'm going to need more. I know that on some level, perhaps I don't want to be doing this anymore and I'm still doing it. So now I'm misaligned and that's stressing me out and causing me a little bit of static in the background. Now I'm having a little bit of shame over this, a little bit of guilt, a little bit of like distrust in myself. At some point, what you're chasing and using in your behavior now will become the reason you even need to have relief in the first place. It's a very um, ironic cycle that we put ourselves into. And I really want to impress upon you that really stopping all of this isn't about discipline. It's not about white knuckling. It's not about willpower. We often think of that when we're like changing behavior. We think, well, I just really got to muster up the strength for this. But I feel like anytime you muster up the strength for anything, it creates like an amplified resistance to it. Truly, it's just about choosing to come into alignment, choosing to do what feels right for you if you are one of those that's getting that nudge of like, maybe this isn't right for me anymore, or choosing alignment in the sense of regulating yourself on a sustained level, self sourcing that regulation rather than relying on other outside sources to do that, that only cause that ricochet and bounce back effect. So I want you to try and think about sobriety as returning to sort of a baseline of safety, about really finding that place that's like coming home. You're not abandoning yourself anymore. You're actually going to support and nourish yourself from within. You can self source your own regulation. And how amazing and cool is that? I think it's also a good idea to bring up the point that when we are no longer living in congruence with what feels right for us, so this is for those who are like getting that nudge of like, maybe this isn't a great way for me to be behaving any longer. Maybe I need to choose a new way. There is something that happens in the background. There's like a static dissonance that happens in your energy that you will feel split into two, split between the one who wants the substances, has the pattern of using them, wants the quick fix, doesn't really believe they can do it on their own, doubts that, fears the life that may come about from as a result of moving into a sober lifestyle. And then there's the other side of you on the split, and that side of you that's like, you know what? I really can see with clarity that this is like a dog chasing its tail. This is a cycle I'm stuck in. I'm really tired of going around this mountain a million times. I'm not finding relief, maybe temporarily, but this isn't doing what I set out for. This is not a peaceful life. This is having effects on so many areas of my life that are not positive. I know there's a part of me that is over this and done with this. So you start living split in two, right? Your two halves are battling yourself. You have this total internal struggle that's going on. And in the meantime, you're just going on autopilot doing what you've always done, chasing, 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 running from feelings, chasing relief. It is an ongoing battle. And I want to tell you that the relief really comes from congruency, from reconciling that within yourself, not from chemistry, not from a chemical. Doesn't come from that, albeit, yeah, temporarily, but you're only creating a greater dissonance within yourself. Relief really comes from coming into alignment with yourself and learning to rely on yourself, building that self trust again, regulating from within, and knowing that you've got yourself and you can handle it. It's a bit of an identity shift from escaping yourself to really being able to be with yourself. And that scares the bejesus out of most of us. The last thing we want to do is sit with ourselves and be with ourselves and our thoughts and our feelings and emotions and traumas and all of that. That's why we started using stuff in the first place. So it's scary as fuck. We don't want to do that. But guess what? You can. You can. And you're really going to have so much more relief in the long run. You're going to finally get the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow of the piece that you wanted when you learn to stop escaping, stop chasing, and just sit with yourself. Again, I do want to mention that Enough is Enough online workshop is a great place to start. It's like step one. It's like getting over that internal mental warfare that's going on, that struggle that you have inside you of the two pieces of you pitted against each other. It's getting over the fears regarding moving into your sober lifestyle because let's be honest and normalize the fact that it can be very scary. We are not sure of all the things that are going to change in our life. We're not really sure what that even looks like or who we'd have to be. We may have even constructed in our mind certain templates of what that means to be that type of person or ideas or beliefs of what sober people are. Maybe you've made fun of them in the past and you're like, well, no, I don't really want to become that. There's so much that we struggle with fear of losing people in our lives and changing relationships and trying to find new ways to cope. That's all very normal. But it's also a way of procrastinating. It truly is. And once you have enough clarity to know that, okay, this is really kind of like beating my head up against a wall by continuing this behavior, you can't go back. You can't go back. You know it. And the only real way is to move forward. So grab a free online workshop and watch it because it's going to help you. Beyond that, I'm just super thrilled that you hung out this long in this video to kind of dive into these topics. I want you to subscribe if you want more of this content. Maybe like or share, comment how this made you feel, what came up for you, and hey, watch the next video that YouTube thinks is the best one that you might like. See if they're right about that. I would love to have you come back next time as we dive further into ending this mental warfare, normalizing all the fear around moving into our sober lifestyle, and help you get off the fence. I'll catch you next time.